I think, yeah, we just need to execute on small plays and really terminate the ball. So continuing to use the block. I said this on air to Kevin and Salima, but I think, I told Simone, like, keep taking those high rips and, if you get them back and you can play them, those are great balls, keep going for those. Those are not bad swings.
So do you think one of the biggest things for tomorrow then is just also improving communication?
Yeah, I mean, there's always room for improvement with communication. I think also just executing small balls. We're talking a lot and it's fun to talk, but I think we need to make plays in the big moments. That's where we can really upgrade.
Okay. Thank you. Betty, my next question is for you. How does it feel to be the captain of your team and come out and get the first win tonight?
Betty, ¿cómo sientes ser capitán de tu equipo y agarrar hoy la noche?
Bueno, me siento muy bien, ya que tuvimos muy buena química como equipo. Las chicas son muy receptivas a lo que les digo y en los momentos difíciles supimos salir adelante con una actitud positiva y creo que eso ayudó muchísimo a que pudiéramos ganar.
Going in tonight, we had great team reception. Everybody had a positive attitude and executed very well, which allowed us to get a great win tonight.
Gracias, Betty.
Okay.
John,
go ahead, Courtney.
Sorry, I have one more question. My last question for Ebony. Ebony, how did it feel to be playing on a completely new team tonight and kind of get into the flow of that?
I felt like tonight, last week was a lot of high energy type of stuff. And I also felt like our team is very high energy, like Betty said, and we're very positive. So as long as I keep hopping on teams that are just like that, I think we're going to be just fine.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay, at this time, we'll open the floor to more questions. John, I see you have a question.
Yeah, this question's for any of the athletes or all the athletes, whichever. How difficult is it for teamwork, the teamwork aspect, being that the teams change every week?
Who wants to take that question?
I'll take it. Yeah, I think it's obviously the nature of this league. It's very difficult and things feel kind of rough in the first couple of days of practice. And I think, some teams aren't finding chemistry until the matches. And that's when the chemistry is happening. So I think, staying really patient and communicating often. But I think setter-hitter connection and team cohesion is, one of the biggest challenges, and the teams that can adapt the quickest are having the most success.
Thank you.
Okay, Ebony, do you have an answer? Would you like to answer that question?
Just like Karsta said, I think the setter-hitter connection is very important. If we obviously vibe with different setters and every setter sets differently. So just working on that in practice so it translates to a game, that's the biggest thing that we have to work on during the week. And that can kind of be difficult sometimes.
Hey, John, you can repeat the question one more time for me and I can have Betty answer for you.
Yeah, I was just questioning with the draft changing teams every week, how hard is it to maintain teamwork?
Betty, la pregunta es, con los nuevos equipos cambiando cada semana, ¿qué son las dificultades en la práctica o empezando el juego para ustedes?
Bueno, yo creo que eso del draft cada semana es una prueba como que para cada atleta, probar lo que puede hacer jugando con una jugadora diferente cada semana, con una acomodadora diferente. Y creo que lo más importante es eso, ser receptivo, estar positivo, porque en el momento preciso o difícil del partido, lo que va a prevalecer es eso, poder ayudar al que está a tu lado, no importa quién pueda ser.
So John, her answer is basically during the draft, this is a test for every athlete to prove themselves, how they can work with different teams at different times, as well as, maintain that positive, strong attitude that they have going into matches every week. And that's what keeps the momentum going. So that's basically what the challenges are. But it looks like everyone on this team is proving to be, during the changes, coming up and passing that test.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah. May I ask a follow-up question to John's question there?
You sure can. Who do we have on the call?
My name's Dave Neely from Gold Medal Square. And my follow-up question to John's is, how long does it take? Maybe this is good for the captains. How long does it take throughout the course of the week? And then even more specifically in the first match that you're playing with the new team to feel like you've really meshed together at least as much as possible in such a short amount of time?
I'll go ahead and ask Betty that question first, Karsta, and then we'll have you answer if that's okay. Okay, so Betty, la pregunta es que teniendo tu equipo como capitán, ¿cómo es la manera que juegan como un equipo y cómo está cuando entran a la práctica y luego también cómo fue todo cuando empezando el juego teniendo un nuevo equipo?
Bueno, creo que el cambio de que pudiéramos, por ejemplo, tener el draft los martes nos da tiempo de 3 días para poder entrenar, para poder conocernos, para poder planear algo para los juegos del fin de semana. Y creo que, por ejemplo, en esta semana yo pedí que el primer día de entrenamiento estuviéramos solo nosotros, no compartir cancha con otro equipo, para eso mismo, para conocernos, para coordinar con la acomodadora y con todo el equipo.
So Betty's answer is having the draft on Tuesday is great because it gives them plenty of time, gives them a good 3 days to get accustomed, to also, gather themselves as a team. First day of practice, she requested that it be just the team and nobody else, no other team playing there in the gym with them so that they can get accustomed to each other, as well as, get that feel as a team to prepare for tonight's game.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think 3 days is maybe the minimum that you need to, vibe as a team. So I think, I think we were finding some of our cohesion today in the match. It's not, ideally maybe it's 2 weeks. So I think in that case, it's really a moot point, just to, work with what you have. And I think we're finding ourselves little by little and hopefully more tomorrow.
Yeah, I would echo what Karsta and Betty said. We like to try to mesh during the week and find the vibe, find a similar point, energy level, and then just seeing how we all play differently. And then I feel like game days is the real test. So we see how that mesh and how all that practice can help us. And also we have 3 games in a row. So we might not mesh today, but we'll work on it tomorrow and for the day after that as well.
Cool, thanks. It's all, I'll just finish by saying it's been fun watching the last couple of weeks. So keep it up.
Do we have any other questions for our players? Okay, well, we want to thank everyone for joining us. Ladies, thank you so much. Betty, gracias.
Thank you.
And we will see you all after the next match. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Ladies, once again, great game, great plays, nice rallies tonight. We're going to go ahead and get started with Courtney. So Courtney, if you want to go ahead and get started and ask your questions for Jordan, Leah, or Willow, go ahead.
Yeah, like Bianca said, truly a great match tonight, ladies. Thank you so much. Leah, my first question is for you. With drafting this team, you had a lot of the same players that you had on your team the week before. How do you think that helped you in terms of prepping for this match?
I think it was extremely helpful, especially having like Tiffany back row. We're really used to passing by each other. And so that makes that type of communication really easy. And just in general, we already had a vibe. We knew how to play with each other. So it made just kind of like communication and things like that really much easier.
Mm-hmm. And then can you tell me kind of what's going through your head with winning 2 out of 3 sets in the overall match?
I think that's like what you get with the scoring. It's kind of hard because like you win the 2 sets, but you don't still win the match. I think it just shows you how much the points really truly matter in the game. And it's a little frustrating because that's happened multiple times to me, but it happens and we're ready to play the next game.
Yeah, thank you. And then on the flip side of that, for Jordan or for Willow, how do you guys, or how are you approaching the mindset after losing 2 out of 3, but winning the overall match? Jordan, you went on an incredible serving run in the first set to make it possible for your team to even remain in it for the overall points.
Yeah, in that first set, I think we were just focused on taking 1 point at a time and closing that gap. Obviously, we're down, I believe, 24-12, something crazy. And again, every point in the way our league has this system, every point matters. So it was just about closing that gap. And every time we had a timeout, it was just raising our energy level, being just focus on our side. And I think we did a great job of that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Jordan, for you, I know that kind of going into draft day, you weren't really quite sure what your strategy was going to be for picking your team. How did it feel coming into the first match today, the way that things kind of shaped up?
Yeah, we were without Sam for a couple days just for other reasons. And so I think just that first set was kind of getting into a rhythm and kind of figuring each other out, right? We had 3 days, but it's still like a very short amount of time to get to know one another. And so I think we were working through a lot of that in that first set, and just really proud of our team. I think in general, like, I just want to be a part of a team that's fighting for every point. It doesn't always have to be pretty, you know. I don't think we played the best volleyball. It wasn't the prettiest, but at the end of the day, we fought hard and, you know, we overcame maybe a lot of challenges. So that's what I look for and what I want to be a part of.
Yeah, you guys had some incredible rallies tonight.
Yeah.
Those are all of my questions. So over to you, Bianca.
All right, thank you, Courtney. We'll open the floor now to our media members joining. If y'all have any questions, please state your name and your affiliate. Okay, John, go ahead.
This is John for Global Traveler. I have a question for any or all of the athletes. I'm a casual volleyball fan, but I found myself glued to the screen for every game so far. Do you guys realize the impact you're having on the sport and the fans?
Who would like to take that question?
I'll take it. I think yes, because we know this is the first time we're doing this in the United States, but also I think every day seeing people on social media talk about it, it's just really amazing to see how much it caught on. I think going into this, we really didn't know what was going to happen. And so the fact that everybody's loving it and so many people are tuning in from so many different countries, I think it's just amazing to see every single game. And I'm happy that people are seeing a different way to play volleyball, but also just getting to see the game in general.
Thank you.
Willow,
and I have a
Jordan.
question. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to see Willow, Jordan, would one of you like to answer that question? You good? Okay, John, go ahead with your next question.
I just had a question for Willow. If her father has given her any advice on handling the press and the fans.
Most of the time, my dad doesn't really talk too much about volleyball just because he doesn't know too much about volleyball, but he does tell me a lot about the recovery aspect and just taking care of my body and how important that is, and not just recovery after, but maintaining strength in your shoulder. I mean, he was a pitcher, I'm a hitter, so like it all comes down to just maintaining that strength and taking care of your body before and after games. But yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have any other questions?
Hello, may I ask a question? Dave Neely here from Gold. This is Dave Neely from Gold Medal Square. For all the players, this would be a good question. What are you hearing from former teammates and other people you know in the volleyball world that aren't a part of the league this year? What are you hearing from them via text message and social media about what they're seeing as they watch your league?
I'll answer that. I actually just got a text from one of my Turkish teammates that I played with over 5 years ago, and I actually wrote her about this season. Hey, you want to come and play? Because she was like one of my favorite players to play with. She was a setter and just awesome energy, and she was like just super stoked on the league, like the fact that it's getting there and like people are seeing it, and I'm getting that from a lot of people. Like it looked so cool, and people want to be a part of it, and I can't tell you, like being kind of from the beginning, like how cool it is to see it like come to fruition and like this really like be live and here and people loving it. It's just really, but I'm getting way more positive from a lot of teammates, and it's great to hear.
Leah or Willow?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I think not only me, what I've received, but what I've just heard from other players when you're coming to practice or sitting down stretching, I hear a lot about how unique this league is and how a ton of people are reaching out, old club coaches, old friends from high school. Like I just am really proud and honored to be a part of something that's growing and I just continue to see it grow every single day. I mean, whether that be from a little girl watching it on TV or we get a new follower on social media, it's just amazing like how far this has come. And I'm just really honored to be able to play in this league, honestly, with some of the greatest players ever. So
I've got a lot about accessibility, which I think is really cool. Like college volleyball has been like the main volleyball in the States, and most of us play on their conference networks, and not everybody gets that. And so the fact that a lot of my family and old teammates are able to just like go down the TV and see it, or even go on Facebook and be able to watch it and have no issues, I think is really cool. And that's something that other leagues don't have. And so I think that's really exciting as well, that we're so accessible to so many different people. Like you don't have to have TV to watch us play. You can just get online and see us.
John,
Thank you, all three of you, for your answers. Thank you.
John, I see you have another question.
Yeah, just a question for any of the athletes. Does the point scoring system affect how you play the game at all, or is it just you play as a regular game?
I actually had an interview about this yesterday, and someone asked a similar question. Like, do you play more timid or something because of your getting those negative points if you make a mistake? And I would say it just is, obviously we're playing at such a high level, so it just makes you, I wouldn't say it makes me timid, but just making smarter decisions. So if it's not a great set, doing something better with the ball than taking a big swing on it. And obviously as a player, you're going to make mistakes, like stuff's going to happen, but I think it's just made me a better player in like the aspect of just being smarter with my decisions, I would say.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions for our players? Okay, ladies, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Congratulations to Team Larson. Leah, best of luck tomorrow for Team Edmond, and we will see you all tomorrow evening. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to our press conference. Team Larson, congratulations.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead and start. So on the call today, we've got Jordan Larson, Kristen Tupac, and Karsta Lowe. Courtney, if you want to go ahead and start with your questions.
Sure.
Before we start, I believe all the players are muted.
Yes.
I think we were just doing that for background noise in case it gets echo.
Gotcha. Sorry.
Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, I feel like I say this every time, but thank you for another amazing matchup tonight. Karsta and Jordan, I know that there was kind of a lot of like riding on your guys' rivalry coming into this game. Can you guys kind of tell me what you were thinking in terms of playing each other and facing up against each other rather than being on the same side of the net?
Go Karsta.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Jordan's a really strong player. And I think, I mean, I know I have the fire lit. I don't know if it's a mutual rivalry, but yeah, I mean, obviously wasn't the result we wanted. It's discouraging. But another chance to come back tomorrow.
Yeah. Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we face each other in practice a lot with the national team, so we are used to competing against each other, and maybe not so official manner, but yeah, it was always fun. We knew it was going to be a great competition tonight, and I'm just really proud of our team. I think we started off a little bit slow, but once we started getting our groove, we showed up today, and we played really well.
Yeah, for sure. And then Jordan, I caught a little bit of your interview with Kevin, and I heard you kind of saying that, you know, towards the end of that third set, you felt like your team was getting a little bit comfortable, even though the overall match point was getting very, very close. How did you kind of help your team refocus to realize that the match was actually getting pretty close overall?
Yeah, I didn't realize how close it was until I like looked over my shoulder and saw the points, and I was like, we need to side out like right now. And Chris is like, it's okay, be calm, be calm. And I'm like, no, we need to side out right now. So it was like, she was right. I mean, like there should be a sense of calm, but like we need to side out this ball. So it was definitely getting closer than we would have liked, but I'm glad we were able to finish it strong.
Thank you. Yeah, Kristen, for you, as you're, you know, kind of thinking about that, how do you kind of try to help other teammates stay calm? And then how are you kind of a leader on the court? I feel like liberos are often looked over for that role that they play.
Yeah, I think more so just through my communication and just making sure that everyone has an idea of, and a plan, and making sure before each serve, the people that are passing next to me know what balls I'm taking and what balls I want them to take, and then being really confident in our calls. And I just think maintaining that throughout the set, that's like my number one goal as libero, is just to make sure I'm always communicating and helping my teammates through whatever I can see, and give them confidence in themselves and let them know that I have their backs.
Thank you. And Karsta, my last question is for you. I know yesterday you had mentioned that you wanted to come in with your team and kind of focusing more on the small touches today. Is that still your main point of focus for going into your last match tomorrow?
100%. Yeah, I think that's when we were doing well. We were controlling those balls. I think that was the most frustrating. You know, we would get a dig, and then we weren't helping each other out and making a good out of system set out of it. So, you know, I was trying to reiterate, you know, we have to help each other. You know, maybe the dig's not perfect, the set's not perfect, but how can we set up the next player? And yeah, I think that was something we definitely struggled with. It just, you know, controlling small things. We've got terminators, but you know, we have to make the rest of the rally happen to win.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you so much for your answers, and Bianca, I'll pass it back over to you.
All right, thank you, Courtney. At this time, we'll open up the floor to our other media members on the call. Please make sure you state your name and affiliation and then your question. John, go ahead.
John Robleski from Global Traveler magazine. Question for any or all. Does the well, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Are there any rivalries, friendly rivalries starting to develop now that you're into the second week?
I don't know about, yeah, maybe rivalries a little bit, but I think in general, we're starting to learn a lot more information about people, like where they're going to hit, and, you know, just kind of front loading those plays a lot better. I do see some looks across the net, but it's like always like a little friendly joking, or like, you know, somewhat competitive, but I think just more information. And I think we're going to continue to see that over time. And like, how can we continue as athletes to see the game better and kind of over anticipate, you know, what's coming at us?
Thank you. And have you guys seen any of your Topps volleyball cards that are coming out?
I have not yet. I've seen like some of the previews of a couple other players.
You get to choose your pictures at all, or is that just decided by them?
I'm not sure. I think they're choosing it as far as I know.
Okay. And I have one last question for Kristen. I read that you were involved in the point scoring system, developing it. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Well, it was a really long process, and we knew that this was going to be one of the most important pieces, and we really wanted to make it so that every point counts. And I think, especially in the last two matches, for my team, we've seen that every point matters, and to be able to, even though like yesterday, our team lost 2 sets, but we won the match by 1 point. And that really puts value, even if you feel like you're down, on trying to just bring good overall quality all the time. So I feel like the scoring system is executing exactly what we want it to.
Do you think it affects the way people play? Like, because obviously more time on the court would maybe lead to more points. So do you think that changes anyone's mindset?
I definitely think it brings another level of competition. I think, if you don't find yourself on the court, a lot of it is about your play, your level, and making you bring it. But you might have the opportunity to step on the court, and when you do, taking advantage of it. So yeah, I just think it's going to make everybody better. Thinking about the quality that you're bringing and trying to bring just a lot of good as consistently as possible.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate all your answers.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any other questions for our players before we let them go? Okay, ladies, thank you so much. Great match tonight. Congratulations, Team Larson. Team Lowe, go get them tomorrow. And we will see you all tomorrow. Thank you again. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our players are getting set up, and we'll go ahead and start. Welcome, Team Edmond. Congratulations on a great win.
Thanks.
We're going to open the floor now for questions. Courtney is going to start. So Courtney, go ahead and ask your questions.
Yeah, like Bianca said, thank you, ladies, for a fantastic match to watch. One of my first questions is just for anyone. In that first set, you had a huge lead, 23-14. What was kind of going through your mind, and were you thinking of that same lead that you had on Saturday night in the first set against Team Larson?
I think we were definitely thinking, let's finish this game. We didn't want a repeat of that. So I think we were all making sure that we were really focused and to make sure we were getting this next point and we are moving on to the next set.
And going into this match, was your strategy to really focus on Karsta and stopping her from getting into a rhythm? What was your main strategy?
I think our strategy really was just to focus on our side and worry about what we were doing and how we could bring things to the table that could potentially stop them. Being conscious of what they were going to do. Obviously, teams have patterns, but we were really more focused on handling ourselves and accomplishing what we wanted to do on our side of the net.
Yeah, you guys put up an amazing blocking game. Can you kind of just talk through that and strategy for really getting aligned well against the other team's hitters?
Yeah, we had really amazing communication tonight. I thought we were really just being vocal about what we saw on the other side and reminding each other what we were blocking and what their tendencies were. I felt really unified with the blockers throughout the game. And then really blocking just comes down to the discipline of what you're doing with your hands once you're up there. And I felt like everyone really dialed it in tonight. And there was very few careless errors where we were really intentional with what we were doing, and we were able to stop them a lot.
Yeah. And then Brie, I've been so impressed with your ability to find the connection with your middles from pretty much anywhere on the court, especially running the slides. And what has been difficult for you in this league for switching up teams, and how have you been able to quickly establish that connection with your middles?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a new world, and it comes with a lot of challenges. But the thing that I've done so far to kind of combat all that is immediately once we find out our teams is figuring out with my middles what their kind of bread and butter is, what they love to hit, and then finding ways to get them that ball in lots of situations. There's not really time to get like tons of variety in different plays, but if I know what Taylor, for example, loves to hit and I can find her from wherever, then we're going to have success in the game. So it's just been about finding what the middle loves to hit and exploiting other teams with it.
Yes, thank you. And then Leah, last question for you. Looks like you might be a captain again this week, most likely. What are you kind of thinking from taking from this team going into the draft?
I really like how well we complemented each other. I think the middles worked well with the outsides, and this fact that they were pulling the blockers. And so when they pull the blockers, they're opening up all the pins. And at the same time, they're really good at what they're doing. And so again, my strategy will always be finding people that complement each other the best. And we talk a lot during the draft about, hey, does this person work well with you? And how can we make a unified, cohesive team?
Thank you so much. Those are all of my questions.
Thank you, Courtney. We'll open the floor now to our media members. Please state your name and your affiliation when you're ready to ask a question. John, go ahead.
This is John Robleski at Global Traveler Magazine. I have a question for any or all of the athletes. With 2 weeks into playing, has there been any major surprises for you?
I think surprises just how quickly it's moving through, and honestly, the variations from team to team aren't as extreme as maybe I thought they were going to be. I think once you get into that rhythm with the team, and now that we're having a few more days to actually practice and solidify the things that you want to work on, it's been a lot easier transitioning into that. So I think definitely surprising. The girls are making it easier by putting themselves out there to make it more of a cohesive unit, like Leah was saying.
Thank you.
I definitely think it's different than softball. I think softball, it was switching a lot. And I think volleyball, when you're playing with the same people, it's easier, especially with setters. So I definitely am not shocked that everybody's trying to keep like kind of the same setters, the same people that they play really well with, because I think that chemistry is a huge factor with volleyball.
Thank you. And is there anything different that you plan on doing next week in terms of your own style of play?
I think for me, of course, we're talking a lot about how every point matters in this league because of the scoring system, and you can lose a couple sets and still win the match if you're able to battle back with the point differential. I think for me personally, sometimes I found myself this weekend a little bit kind of easing into matches a little bit too much, and kind of like almost kind of getting into the rhythm as the set goes on, instead of starting from the first point like as urgent as you need to be in this league. And I think that's just kind of from my experience with normal volleyball that are best 3 out of 5 sets, and you do kind of have time to figure stuff out. I feel like I need to take better advantage of the time, even just problem solving in an actual game quicker than you normally would have to. I think that's like an upgrade I can make in my own like mental game.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from our media members?
Sorry, I thought of one more.
Go ahead, Courtney.
This can be for the group, but you know, in the third set, you guys had won the match at 16-15. Did that register with any of you, or no? You just wanted to keep focusing on point by point.
Had not one clue.
No.
Yeah. Not a single idea.
Yeah.
Just was interested to ask.
Maybe we should know that.
Maybe.
But
I mean, I think because the point differential was so big in that match that I knew kind of like whatever happened, we were probably going to still win it. I think like yesterday and the day before, we knew like, hey, we got to get to this point. And so I think it just kind of depends on the match.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Christoph, go ahead.
Yeah, no, this is Christoph from Show Sport. I got a question for my fellow Canadian. I wanted to dig a little bit on the setting and on the connection that you got. Did you find it easy with Taylor in the middle because you were coached by Joe and Tom, and it's the same way of actually setting the tempo? Or did you actually practice a lot in the morning? We don't see that to actually say, okay, I'm going to set from here. How did you work on that?
Yeah, at the start of the league, we kind of all got on the same page in terms of what systems we were going to be running, and that was going to be a fast offense where we're trying to run middles from anywhere on the court. And I got really lucky this week with two middles that love to get set from anywhere. Not all middles are comfortable doing that, so I think mine and Taylor's connection was so great because she wanted the ball as much as I wanted to set her, so we were willing to kind of work through those kinks definitely in practice to get her the ball more. And we all know that when a middle is able to hit from anywhere, it just opens up the offense completely. So definitely my previous training with Canada and Joe and Tom, and even having Joe this week again was awesome. Just reminding me of little things that it's easy to forget when you don't have that constant feedback. But yeah, I felt like he was pivotal this week, and definitely Taylor just worked through it hard with me to get her the ball more.
Awesome, thank you, and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Mariko? Do you have any questions? Go ahead.
I want to ask about the role of the captain. The captain has a lot to do. Besides choosing members, who decide the starting lineup?
I decide the starting lineup. I kind of have it already in mind when I'm drafting, and that is the reason why we draft the way that we do. It does also change depending on what's going on in the game. So sometimes it's a game time decision, but most of the time it's pretty solidified from the beginning of the week.
And the timeout and the member change, who decided?
Usually, I look at our coach and he probably kind of suggested it. And then sometimes I know hey, we need to call a timeout right now. And sometimes challenges, if the team's let's challenge that, then I usually challenge it. It's usually a group effort. I don't really make any decisions by myself.
And I want to ask about mental support. You are at the top of the ranking, but unfortunately there are some players whose ranking at the bottom. And how do you support the players whose ranking at the bottom as a captain, as a friend?
I think we had a lot of players, even from moving from 1 week or from week 1 into week 2, that were at the bottom. And then all it takes is 3 wins and to win those set wins. And that can push you above. That can change the whole rhythm. So really, it is about individual points, but the win points are what's swaying one versus the other. So I think focusing on yourself, it's hard. It's easy to get wrapped up into that, but realizing that winning as a team is more important. It makes it easier to pick each other up and know that 1 week could swing the entire leaderboard, and it really is fluid, and it's able to change. So just because you're at the bottom now does not mean you can be stuck there. You have opportunity to move yourself back up.
I think also, just to answer your question about how as a friend are you supporting people who are getting picked later in your team, I think how we communicate in practice for the week is huge, and I'm trying my best, even specifically as a setter, I know which girls are going to be on the court and which ones aren't, and just being as connected as I can to all the players, because obviously we cannot function without the few girls that aren't playing in the match, but they really are just as important. And I think we saw that on our team this weekend. Our bench was so helpful for me, I don't know if I'm speaking for all of us, but just giving feedback and reminding us of our game plan. And I think obviously the ideal is for a bench player to assume that role really well and give what they can, but I think it definitely is it's a really tough spot to be, and the more aware of people's emotions we are as teammates, the better for them, for sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else with questions before we let our players go? Go ahead.
About the schedule, are you tired of 3 consecutive games?
Yeah. Today was a good day because we got to play a little early, but it's definitely different. But I think we all kind of also knew what we were getting into. But the practice days, we really do try to make sure that we're getting kind of like equal playing and not really wearing people out. Because I know our team this week on Wednesday, we really didn't do that much. We kind of just got a flow for things because we knew like, hey, we just played 3 games. We don't need to go out and be pounding balls. So I think we're all really aware and we have really good communication between all of us about how we're feeling. Like Taylor can tell me, hey, I'm not doing serve pass today. I don't feel good. And that happened this weekend. Like most of us this morning didn't do serve pass because we were like, hey, I'd rather be fresher for the game than the practice and play. So I think we all have really good communication, not only with the coaches, with the trainers, but with each other about how we're playing, and it makes it a lot easier.
Krista?
Yeah, I just got a quick one. I just realized that you were so lucky this weekend to play with 2 awesome Olympians with a lot of experience. What did you learn from Ari and Shayla just by the way they're acting or behaving or their interaction with them?
Shayla is so knowledgeable. Having her, as soon as I saw her on the draft board, I was like, we need her because she can be so helpful. And that's exactly what she was. She gives so much information and she's just a great person overall too. And she's a joy to be around, and having someone like that can also come on the floor and bring that type of energy and just a calmness about her. She never gets frantic. She's just calm and she plays. And when you have a lot of sometimes young players, because we have 3 of them, it's really nice to just be able to have someone who already knows what you're doing and can really steady us if we need it.
Yeah, I would consider her and Ari are stabilizers for sure. I think that they were students of the game. They were helping us see and they were communicating. I know, like, especially, Shayla on the bench, she always had some feedback to give us and was like trying to help us move forward and keep pushing. And obviously her wisdom just goes beyond.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that will end tonight's press conference. Ladies, thank you so much. Congratulations again. Good luck tomorrow on the draft, and we will see you all next Saturday. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.